Hello, everyone, and welcome to the APT and Cybersecurity LinkedIn Live event. My name is Aaron Stillwell, and I'm joined by my co host, Alex Maverill. Today's episode is Securing Tomorrow Cybersecurity and Emerging Tech. We're digging into what's changing fastest across AI, cloud, identity, and supply chain, and what security leaders should be doing to stay ahead without slowing the business down. We're excited to welcome Bob Zinga. Bob is a cybersecurity executive and strategic risk leader who's known for translating complex technical risk into clear board ready decisions. He's also a U.S. Navy information warfare commander with deep experience across defense, government, and the private sector. As this is a live event, please post your comments and questions. We will do our best to answer during the show. Bob, thank you for your service and for being here and joining us.
Thank you so much. I think you can hear me good, right?
You're fantastic.
Fantastic. Very good.
So let's start off. The first question is kind of in one sentence, what is securing tomorrow?
Let me think about that. I think securing tomorrow, to me, it really means building resilient systems, ethical guardrails, and adaptive leaders today so innovation never outpaces trust. Yeah, that's what it means to me. It's all about resilience, ethics, and being an adaptive leader.
Okay. And are we are we in a temporary acceleration cycle or a permanent shift in the security operating model?
It seems like this is going to be permanent, in my opinion.
Okay.
Things are changing pretty quickly,
Oh,
and the
we
world
know.
of yesterday is pretty much gone. Uh, yeah.
So, what would you see as kind of the biggest security assumption leaders need to drop for 2026?
Well, one reason why I say this is permanent is because artificial intelligence, of course,
Of course. Yep.
autonomy, I think, has fundamentally changed the speed, the scale, and decision dynamics of cyber operation all around the world. This isn't just a cycle; it's definitely a new operating model. When I look back to my experience, it's kind of like one of the big shifts that happened to me was around 2011, 2012, when the entire world kind of moved away from on-premise everything to migrating to the cloud. That was quite a significant shift. Because even
Yes.
back then, I was like, how in the world do we do security when our data is all over the place? No, it
Of
used to
course.
be,
Yeah.
especially in the military, defense in depth in a very secure location. We even have
Yeah.
guns and everything to safeguard all of our physical uh, server and things. But now it's on the cloud. You can access it on your iPad, on your iPhone. It's all over the place. How do you still secure that data? So I think this is a pretty significant shift that is happening right now as well. Uh,
So,
anyway.
where do you think most CISOs are underestimating kind of right now?
Well, I think in my opinion, the big underestimation has to do with the speed at which artificial intelligence enabled adversary are really lowering the skill barrier to execute sophisticated attacks.
Yeah.
That is quite mind boggling.
So, do you think that's more of a people issue or a technology issue that they need to look at?
I think it is both, but the way the technology is going right now, kind of remind me back from when I first started. All of those script kiddie, but they didn't know what they were doing. They weren't really, some geniuses or anything like that. Uh, Terrific hackers, all they did is they used some type of script from a real hacker, and they just push a button, and then they got all of those results. And I think that's kind of what's happening now with AI. The mind behind it, they are very smart and they come up with all of these exploits, but you don't have to be that smart to just push a button. So that's definitely a technology issue, but it's also a people issue, especially on the defense side, because I have always says, right, you cannot patch stupid, right? You can have the best secure network in the world, like we do in the military, but if you can exploit a human being, if you can find a vulnerability in a human
Of
and
course.
exploit that, no security control is going to be able to keep your enterprise data safe. So that's
Yeah,
why I.
and we've talked to people about the social media and the AI capabilities with social media and phishing attacks, and it seems to be changing everything.
Yes.
Besides that, we don't have to forget about social engineering, which I have seen very often.
Yeah. Yeah. Social engineering is still a problem. Actually, now it's more of a problem because people are using artificial intelligence to scale it at rates we've never seen before. Like it's going to be very difficult today for people to get those emails from Nigeria. I am a prince and I have this fortune. I want to give you all kinds of error, mistakes, misspelling. No, these emails are very, very good. Actually, right now, I received an email. I almost believed someone trying to recruit me, and then I see, okay, it's coming from a Gmail account. I was able to tell it was fake, but most people will probably just believe, oh, these people think I am so smart and I have all of this skill. Let me reach out to them. It's very, very difficult even for experts today, to tell you the truth, to really tell the difference even between deep fake, whether it's videos or images. Because when AI first started, you would see normally people would have like 6 fingers or crazy things like that. But today it's pretty much impossible to tell the difference. It is crazy. Even the chief AI architect, right, from Facebook, uh, falsely believed that a fake picture from ICE was real. So if it can happen to him, it can happen to anyone,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think lately I have seen, it was last Friday, yeah, it was something like from a movie, but in fact it wasn't any movie, it was AI. A battle between Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. It was, oh my God.
yeah, I suppose that too. They were fighting. Maybe that's going to be what Mission
Yeah,
Impossible,
exactly.
whatever the next number is. But people are definitely going to spend money to watch it. But that is the thing. For example, I am a musician too, right? I play piano. Back in the days, you would have to wait to get a big contract with a music studio and all of that. Now I can just use my computer, get my keyboard, lay tracks, and sing, and then within 10, 15, 30 minutes, I publish it on iTunes and I am set. And I might potentially become, a number one, like Bad Bunny, right? Streamer online. I don't need any contract. I don't need any big company to endorse me. I can just use social media, YouTube, and I can do all of that all by myself. Something
So
with books too,
Bob, are
right?
we going to see you in the next Super Bowl?
It's just crazy. Like even with book, I am working on my next book now. Again, I don't have to have a big contract with a big publishing. I can just do my book. It's all done online. Go to Amazon, publish it, and have Amazon drop ship my book to whoever
That's
sells it. If
fantastic.
I have more than 1 million people following me across all of my social media site, I can become a number one best-selling author without the help of a big company. So our world are definitely shifted, and I think it's not temporary. This is going to be to stay.
Yeah,
Wow.
indeed. I have a few questions. When you walk into a new environment, what do you measure first?
Well, there are a few things. I think one big thing is identity exposure, privilege, access pool, and
Yeah,
also mean time to detect and then to respond. Because I believe identity is the new perimeter.
yeah, correct. Indeed. What's your rule for deciding fix now versus accept risk? Because we spoke earlier about the risk.
Yes. So I think it's really dependent on the organization and the industry. For example, the way I do security for the US Navy is not the same way I do security for Silicon Valley.
Private sector, yeah, I know.
If you try to do it the same way, they are going to fire you like before you say hi. And then even within Silicon Valley, also different when you do security for an existing company, like for example, EMC has been around for hundreds of years. And when you do security for a startup from EMC, like I did for Pivotal, it was only a couple of years old when I was a senior security engineer for them. Two completely different. They have different risk appetite, right? Different risk profile. So you really have to be specific, I think, to the organization and to the industry and maybe the size of the company you work for too. But at a high level, I would say if the risk threatens the actual mission continuity, brand trust, or regulatory survival, you have to fix it now. And
Correct.
usually that's where compliance comes in. And usually, as a security expert, I've used compliance to be secure. Compliance security, two different things. No, if you don't believe me, just ask Target. But you can definitely use compliance in order to improve and mature your security um, program. However, if it's a low impact risk but high cost, I think that's where you probably need to document it and then
Yeah,
time
right.
acceptance.
Yeah. And everything has to be registered into a risk register, as always. Without that, you can't have, let's say,
That's why I
you
say document. Absolutely.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
And that's
Plus,
also why I believe security leaders have to be business leaders as well. You cannot just be a technical
oh
guru
yeah,
because that's all you do. I think you are wasting your time and you're not helping your organization. That's part of the reason why I decided to get the MBA when I moved to Silicon Valley because the business folks didn't understand a word of what I was saying. So I needed to learn how to speak their language because really cybersecurity risk is not very different from financial risk. It's really very, very similar. And you just have to explain it in ways that the board and senior management would understand.
yeah, of course. I mean, when you speak with your team or teams, of course, you can speak technically, not a problem. When you speak with a business, then you have to, or with the board, you have to
Yeah.
change the language because
Absolutely.
they don't know your language, technical speaking. Okay, what's one security metric you actually trust?
Okay, when it comes to metrics, again, my caveat is it depends on the organization, it depends on the industry, it depends on the culture. Because no, some organizations have very, very high risk appetites and some absolutely do not.
Correct?
Very, like in the
Yeah,
Navy, we have very, very low risk appetite when it comes to security because people could die, but that's not true for Google or for Silicon Valley. And then again, if you're a small business, as opposed like Google when they first started, their risk appetite was very, very high. But now they are multi-billion-dollar business. Their risk appetite is getting lower and lower and lower. They're being regulated and all of that. So things do change. But I think says that generally speaking, I think it's time to contentment, right?
yeah,
If you cannot contend quickly, nothing else matters, in my opinion.
yeah. How do you avoid becoming the department of no while still protecting the enterprise? You know, most of the employees are saying, no, we can't do, or
Yeah,
could be departments which they are telling from the business point of view.
that is a good one. Because my entire career, at least when I started back in 1997, I started doing security full time in 2005. So it's been a long time now. Security used to be known as Department of No. No, too risky, can't do it. Okay, here's my thing. In order for you to be in business, you have to accept some level of risk.
Correct?
If you want to be 100% secure, what you're going to have to do is take all of your information systems, bury them under the ground, and shut down the door. That's the only way. So if you're going to be in business, you're going to have to accept risk. So I believe the work of a cybersecurity expert is not to say no, but to provide a secure pathway, not be a roadblock, right? Say yes if no. And that is really what we need to strive to be. So you have to understand the business, how we make money, what is our mission, and how you can enable business sales and enable the business activity throughout your entire enterprise in a safe and secure way.
Okay, thank you. Aaron, you want to
So
add?
let's merge a little bit into emerging tech and kind of priorities, right? Which emerging tech is creating the most hidden risk? Which one would it be? AI, identity, cloud, or supply chain at this point, do you think?
I think it's back to identity
Okay.
because I believe identity is the control plan for artificial intelligence, for cloud, for supply chain. So if you can compromise identity, then everything else will follow. So it has to be identity.
Okay. So, and then where do you see the biggest gap between innovation, speed, and control maturity at this point?
So I believe with generative artificial intelligence integration inside SaaS platform, because now business teams are deploying faster than governance model can adapt. That's one of the key challenges we have now.
Okay. So, what's the first policy you write when a business adopts like a new platform, but it's obviously extremely fast because that's what business does?
I would say go back to the basics. So data classification, I think, is crucial, and
Okay.
then your access boundaries, right? You have to define what data can touch the platform before you start debating all of the features. I think that's where you should start.
Yeah, but trying to fight with business is a hard one.
Yeah, it is. That's again why you need to understand the business and really be a partner to the business, right? Your job should be to help them. I am here to help, not to be a roadblock and not to prevent you from doing your job, but to really advise you how you can do it in a safe and secure way.
That's a great point. A lot of people we've had on and talk about how you have to augment the business unit. You have to make them successful. Because if you could show that to the board, how to make the business successful and how security is integrated into that, it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we talk about what does secure by design look like when teams are shipping weekly?
Yeah, that is one thing I really had to learn. It really shocked me when I moved from the DoD to Silicon Valley, back in 2014. Because
Yeah.
in the Navy we used to use waterfall. Maybe we do upgrade to our code. I don't know, once every 6 months or twice a year. And these crazy people in Silicon Valley they would do like every 2 weeks. Like they would have 2 weeks sprint. I'm like, are you crazy? And using this agile methodology. So I was really way behind the curve. So it's like, how do I ensure that this code is actually secure before it is deployed out there? So the way I kind of think about it is secure by design to me really mean the security has to be embedded into your CI/CD pipeline, right? It's
Yes.
not an afterthought. It has to be baked in, not an add-on. Then you have to have automated guardrail. And then you are not a gate, you don't stop, but you have those guardrail. And within this guardrail in Silicon Valley, just go as fast as you want, as long
Yes.
as you stay within this guardrail. So I am going to keep you secure by design. So threat modeling, I think, is part of the sprint planning and also what's going to be non-optional. Again, going back to identity controls, because I think that is key. If you
O-
lose that, then nothing else would make sense
Okay.
or matter.
So Alex, we'll have Alex kind of talk a little bit about AI reality check and autonomy, which is obviously the hottest issue
Yeah,
that everyone wants to talk about these days.
I'm talking about, yeah, I am so glad. No, in 2019, I took it upon myself. No, I got a job at directly a San Francisco startup using AI and machine learning for customer support automation. Part of the reason why I wanted to be the head of security and IT is because I wanted to learn about AI. I had this idea AI is going to be a very big deal. I didn't know how much of a big deal it was going to be, but I am so glad I made that turn and I got a chance to actually experience, how AI is built from the ground up in a startup environment. But anyway,
That's fantastic. Now, we've had vendors on here before, talking about agentic AI security, and it's just unbelievable, kind of what some of these guys are doing. So, I mean, we'd like to hear that in the end. If you want to talk about it too, that'd be great. I'm sorry, Alex, go ahead.
before I'm going to the AI, I still have one question on the secure by design. If, for example, you have an environment which is secure by design, of course, because of the vendor, but still you have a vulnerability over there, or still you have a risk over there. How you try to mitigate it? Because there are, for example, a couple of things on Microsoft right now. They are secure by design, but then they are not secured. That's the whole point, and have been discovered, I think, last year about this.
well, I guess generally speaking, even secure by design, at least you are thinking about security, and to me, security has a seat at the table, right? Because I've worked for a lot of engineering-centric organization here in Silicon Valley, and many times you can be the head of security, you can be the CISO, whatever your title, it doesn't really matter. You don't have a voice.
Yeah, correct.
Engineering is going to do what engineering does, and most organizations I work for actually security reports to engineering, which I think is a mistake. Because when you tell them, "Hey, I see this flaw, this vulnerability, we need to do something about it," I am your boss. Shut up and sit down. Okay, thank you. So that is a problem. But at least with security by design, security has a seat at the table, and you can actually work before you start developing code, before you start the implementation and execution, trying to think about things like privacy, ethics, safety, security, and having all of those. And again, they're not gate, but they are guardrails and making sure everybody is doing the very best they can to have a safe, secure code. However, that doesn't mean that you will always be successful, because it can be quite complex. But I think that's better than just having this black box where nobody knows what is going on, and then finding out that your software is insecure because you've been hacked and you're on the front page of the New York Times. So what I'm saying is it's almost like art and science, because again, to me, if you want to be 100% secure by design, shut down your business. That's the
Yeah.
only way. The only
Yeah.
way. So, but what I'm saying is you can have a process, that makes sense, that can scale, where you can significantly reduce the chances of being hacked and reduce your risk. And again, going back, I think for most organizations today, I think it's not that they are not hacked, but they just don't know it.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
That's
but
the
if you
point.
can develop that detection, again, fast detect and then fast response containment, I think that is what is going to be key. So you just have to tell yourself, I've already been hacked. Now I need to find out when that happened and why, and then improve your security metrics and control in order to quickly detect and respond and contain the
Yeah, the
threat.
business continuity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
BCP. Okay. Thank you for this answer. I'll jump to the AI as I mentioned, as in fact Aaron mentioned earlier. What's the most common mistake companies make with generative AI rollouts?
With Gen AI, I think letting employees experiment with sensitive data before defining the acceptable use and logging controls. I think that's one of the biggest problem I have seen across most enterprises.
Do you think they don't have a DLP over there for the AI specific?
Well, that could be part of it, but to tell you the truth, most companies that say they do DLP, they do it very, very poorly, in my experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, DLP
And
is very hard to roll out.
yes,
Yeah.
and the other thing too is, especially when it comes to AI, I think it might be a losing battle, because you can have all of your policies, governance procedures, say, okay, we only use this AI, and this is the only thing that's authorized here. But your employees, and I mean, even if they may not be able to do it on your work computer, but you may be able to block some of it, but you cannot block everything. That is just not possible.
Yeah,
Because
I
it might
agree over there.
a brand new Gen AI app and stuff, and then that's not blocked by your firewall or whatnot, and then they're going to be able to get access to that. And then since they have access to your data on their work computer, they can just share the sensitive data too. So that's kind of like what is the expression? Like playing
Guacamole.
guacamole, right? So every time you hit something, it pops up somewhere else. So that's why I think, you do need to have governance. You have to have policy. You have to have procedure and all of that. Absolutely. But in addition to that, what's also as important, in my opinion, is really the awareness, security awareness, right? You have to fix the culture, influence the culture of your organization.
Which is required education and all those kind of stuff.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that is really, really key. So the people need to understand why it is important. Kind of like, becoming a father. When I had those little kids, like they would say, "Why, Dad? Why?" So they kind of need to know why this is important, why it aligned to the big mission of the organization, and then also to the specific work that they do, and how that might potentially impact them. And I think as you do that, people are going to be more aware, and they are going to really try to do the right thing. Because what is happening with a lot of organization right now, I suspect, is people, they just want to do their job and they want to be efficient, and AI can give them 10,
Yeah.
20% efficiency, and they're just going to do it because they need help. You're not hiring anybody else. We are undermanned and we have so much work. So this is the tool that's going to help me do that. So I think as an organization, you need to think strategically about which tool you're going to use, license, and ensure again that your PI, right, which is very valuable to your organization, your secret sauce, what makes you that what provides you your competitive advantage, is protected at any cost, while allowing your employees to effectively use Gen AI to be more efficient at work.
What's your minimum bar for protecting data used in prompts and training? Prompts can be used for many things, even if you want to create a software, or even if you want to create a presentation, or even for hackers. They are using prompts in order to get that kind of data that they are looking for.
Yes, actually, I just interviewed Kat Wang. It was last Friday. She's just terrific, subject matter expert, not just AI but security, and especially quantum technology. She's really big with encryption. So I think I am too. And I think you kind of have to have clear data segregation. You have to have encryption in transit and at rest,
Yeah.
strict retention policies, and also contractual assurances that proprietary data is not reused for model training. I think that should do it.
Okay. AI assistance versus AI delegation. What's the real difference and why it matters?
So, what's the real difference in what?
And why it matters? So what's
Between
the
AI assistance versus AI delegation.
Huh. Well, let me think.
when I'm thinking to AI assistance,
Okay,
I'm thinking
I see. So the way I would think about that, artificial intelligence assistance will inform human, right?
correct.
That is definitely what I am a big proponent of, especially in the military, because again, it could be a matter of life and death. For
Of course.
example, this is public knowledge now. The operation that went to Venezuela and captured their president, it was assisted by Anthropic. So the human being, the military personnel, they the one who actually made all of the decision, but AI allowed them to be a lot more efficient. I think that's the first time in our history where that has happened in U.S. military history. But when it comes to delegation transfer, uh, with delegation you actually transfer the authority. I think the distinction really defines liability and risk posture,
Oh yeah.
and definitely for areas where you are highly, which word I am looking for. All of the industry, like finance, highly regulated industry or high security, like the military, you definitely want assistant and not delegation. Because the other question I have, if you let AI make all of the decision and execute, something goes wrong, who is going to go to jail?
Yeah. Who's to blame?
Yeah,
Yeah.
AI is not.
You're right, and I think you're right. I'm not going to see AI delegation in certain industries. Obviously, military, finance is going to be one of them,
Yeah.
just because of the risk and who's the fault.
Yes, and
There's always honestly sometimes there's always has to be a fall guy, really,
yeah,
and
that's
you
why
can't
I
say a
think even
computer
if
is.
you decide to go with delegation, I think you need to have at least three people. I believe we kind of know human beings who are going to be responsible, accountable for whatever happened with AI. Somebody from the security side, someone from the business side, and then somebody from like engineering or uh, tech technology side, depending on what is going on. I think those three function from within the organization need to talk and they need to be on the same page.
I think Alex, I mentioned this before. My neighbor works for NIH, and they're actually in the process of utilizing AI to look at CT scans, millions of CT scans, and obviously what they're trying to do is help out, right? But I could see it as there's a difference between AI assistance and helping out the radiologist to AI delegation and doing it for you, right? Because it's something, if they miss something, what goes wrong? So I could see it in some places where it could be confusing and it could be issues with that.
Yeah, I would definitely agree because on NIH, you are talking about the healthcare of people. Yeah, that
Yeah.
could have devastating consequences. But really, generally speaking, to me, there always need to be human oversight
Yes.
because you cannot just let AI just do whatever, especially in the military where you could potentially kill people. We absolutely do not want that. But it is true, AI will definitely make you a lot more efficient and save you a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
But you just have to have guardrails.
I have a question here about AI, but it's based on how it thinks and what it's doing. For example, I watched a movie, I think in the weekend. It calls Mercy. For those who doesn't know, it's Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson as the actors. It's a good movie. It's done. I think the scenario is done with AI, by the way. And the judge who's in the movie is an AI. And the trial, it was done with that AI. But
it's a speed thing, right? They
yeah,
do a
exactly.
trial.
What is the name of the movie again?
Mercy.
Yes, I heard about it. Yeah, and it
It's
happens within, what is it? Like
and
an hour or two.
yeah, an hour and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
It happens, everything. But what's nice over there? So the AI found that he made a mistake because he put in a jail somewhere without seeing the root cause. And due to that, at the end of the movie, the AI is removing the code and everything. It's
Alex,
like,
did you just give away the ending?
Isn't that crazy?
yeah, it is. It is crazy.
What
I mean,
world do we live in,
Yeah.
man? That's exciting, but thrilling, but also very, very scary.
It's terrifying.
Yeah,
I
it
mean, it's
is.
absolutely terrifying when they're making a decision on your life.
But I mean, it's kind of exciting to be living in 2026.
but the
right?
state,
Yeah.
the state take the decision took the decision for the AI to be the judge.
Yes. Wow, that is incredible.
That's pretty wild.
So over there, do you think the AI is mature? This was my next question on this. What I was wanted to say.
Well, I know, for example, in Silicon Valley, we are spending a lot of cycle trying to get to AGI, right?
Yeah,
And AI is definitely mature a lot in the last couple of years. That is for
yeah,
sure.
you can say like that. Yeah, indeed. But do you think it's mature to really do things like, I don't know, to give you the exact information that you are looking for? For example, I'm trying every day to ask for something, and he's giving me more recommendations, not exact information that I'm looking for.
I think it depends on the large language model you are using. And by the way, for me, I recommend not using the commercial one, but no, having one private within your enterprise and then use your own data to.
Yeah, like the AI lab, I know.
That's probably the most secure way of doing so. But anyway, from what you are asking, I know a lot of models are getting better and better, smarter and smarter. So I do appreciate that. However, it's my belief that no matter what, we definitely need that human oversight. I think that is just so crucial. I would never delegate 100% to some type of AI bot to just make all of the decision for me, especially if it is something that is crucial and important for your business, your livelihood, or
Yeah.
anything like that. But AI has definitely made a lot of improvement, and it keeps improving more and more. So that's pretty outstanding.
You know, Alex, that brings us back to, remember we interviewed the CISO for Delta Airlines.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
talked about the maturity of waiting for the maturity of AI before and taking a slow pace at it before looking to integrate it at all within what they're doing, which was interesting.
I recommend for everyone who have heard to have a look on our YouTube, and they will find
Yeah, we did that.
the live event. Yeah, and it was a really good one.
Yes.
Okay, agentic AI in production right now. Yes, no, or limited? How do you see that?
Well, again, my caveat has always been right. Again, it depends on your organization and the size of your organization and the industry. What you
Yeah,
do. Generally speaking, I think it should be limited. The reason why I
yeah,
say that because agentic AI can assist in bounded environments, but autonomous decision authority, especially in high-risk system like in the military,
yeah.
that absolutely requires strict oversight. There is no way
Oh,
around
yeah.
that. Now, if you are
But
within a lab or something, you just know testing and stuff like that small scale. I mean, go for
yeah,
it.
could be an yes over there. I understand.
But when the decision you're going to making has the potential of actually affecting financial systems, and no, it could be life or death, because for most partner, no, even flying is pretty much autonomous, right? But you still need a pilot in the cockpit. But if a decision that is made is potentially going to affect the life of a human being, you definitely need to have human oversight.
Yeah. Aaron, you might want to add some questions.
Yeah, so let's kind of move a little bit to adversaries and machine speed kind of conflicts.
Mm.
Where is the attacker advantage growing? Do you see the fastest today?
Well, we talked about social engineering
Yep.
earlier. I think that is definitely a big risk
Yeah, oh,
right
yeah.
now, especially when it is enhanced by artificial intelligence,
Yep.
right? Hyper personalized phishing at scale. Again, I just got an email yesterday from a fake recruiter. I almost believed it. They're getting so much better. Like they go to your LinkedIn profile and they use all of the keyword, and it's very difficult to tell that this is AI or is that a human being. It's just getting very good.
Yeah. So where do you see kind of what what nation kind of state actors are using AI differently than you see than like criminal organizations?
When it comes to nation state, no, generally speaking, we're thinking about North Korea, China,
Yep.
Russia. They have pretty developed use of emerging technology. Right? I'm sure everybody has heard now how a lot of the North Korean soldiers were getting Silicon Valley jobs as engineers
Oh yeah.
and tech
We
support
saw that in the news. Oh yeah.
and all of that. It's pretty unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
And now they even have AI enabled program where they can even change the way they appear like on a Zoom call. And one way to really find out is to get them to actually move, make turn around and make gesture. But it's just incredible again how fast this technology is evolving. So that's why again I believe the most crucial skill in the 21st century, this age of AI we're living in, is really leadership. We need people who actually can lead,
Yeah.
right? Not just people, but project and doing it, from a position of value-based leadership with integrity, with character, and trying to do ethics, which I think many times, especially in Silicon Valley, we tend to think as an afterthought, but it is important, and we have to do the right thing for our organization, for our community, and for society.
So do you think we're prepared for machine speed conflict in enterprise environments?
So you said prepare for machine to do one.
Yeah, machine speed conflicts.
Oh,
Obviously,
speed.
with the yeah machine speed.
Uh, I personally don't think that we are there right now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that no, we may not be able to get there, because I mean, technology is definitely moving at a very fast speed,
Uh huh.
and it's going to be very difficult to keep up. So I would say technologically, I think we are partially there, but organizationally and ethically, I don't think we are there at all. We have
Well,
so much.
defense is always playing keep up to offense. I mean, it's always
Yes.
been that way, and
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
with now, it's making it even more difficult.
Yes. I guess it's a kind of mouse cat type of game, and
Yep.
one good thing about it is people like us, with the skills we have, it pretty much gives us job security. But yeah, it is a challenge.
So what's one control defenders do you think overrate today?
I would think probably the annual security awareness training,
Ah, yeah,
because I think culture beats checkbox training every time. I think it was
yeah, yeah.
Peter Drucker, right, who says that culture eats strategy for breakfast. I would just leave it at that.
So what's one capability defenders still underinvest in today?
I believe it's identity governance. Back to identity again.
Oh yeah,
Especially now, when we have identity, it's not just human, but agentic AI and all of the non-human processes and entities that we are currently using across the enterprise and APIs and all of that, and but also privilege access lifecycle management. I think if you get that under control, you're going to be in a pretty good shape.
okay, cool. So let's kind of pass it over to Alex. We'll talk about the governance and the boards and all that good stuff.
Okay, because we spoke about governance a bit earlier. How do you explain cyber risk to a board in 60 seconds? I know
Well,
you don't have too much over there. You have to present to one or maximum 3 slides, let's say.
yeah,
Rarely
Yeah.
cases when three slides, of course.
yes. I think back to what we talked earlier, and part of the reason why I got a business degree. I think cyber risk is really business risk.
Yeah.
You have to treat it just like financial risk. I remember, I think it was in 2001 with the Enron scandal, WorldCom, and all of that. The SEC pretty much mandated every public company, Fortune 500 company, need to have a financial expert on the board, a qualified financial expert, and that's been done. Every board today has at least one financial expert. So I think now is the time to have a qualified technology expert on every board. I think it really threatens revenue, reputation,
Yeah.
operation, and regulatory standing. They're going to care a lot about regulatory standing. So our job, I think, is to reduce the likelihood, but if it does happen, reduce the impact. And then if it does happen, or not if, when it does happen, to recover fast. That's what I would say in 60 seconds.
Actually, I was going to probably, Alex might ask that, but how important is it for the CISO to have board level access?
I think it's critical. I think, we probably kind of started CISO function maybe about 20, 25 years ago, but I felt like it was almost always an add-on, like a collateral duty. You really an engineer or a network engineer, but then you're doing security on the side. But now it's a full function. It has C-level visibility. So I think
Yep.
C in CISO needs to mean something. When you say chief executive officer, chief operating officer, chief financial officer,
Yep.
well, chief information officer, chief information security officer, that C needs to mean something.
Yep.
That means, in my opinion, you have to be at the same level as the other member of the C-suite, and you do
Yes.
need to have access to senior uh, uh, management and the board. Because again, no, for the most especially in government, usually the CISO report to the CIO. In Silicon Valley, most jobs have had the CISO report to the chief engineering officer.
That's what I was going to ask you real quick. But who do you think they should be reporting to?
I think it really depends on the organization. It depends, on the industry and also the culture within. But I think when it comes to it, the CISO should report to the most effective or caring member of the C-suite. If the CEO is the one who cares the most about security, I think that's where the CISO should report to. The person on the C-suite who has lots of influence and who cares deeply about security. I think that's where you will have the most impact.
And
In my
definitely
opinion.
someone who has access to funding.
Yes, yes, because now throughout my career, I have reported to legal, which was very nice, and usually the chief legal officer has a lot of leverage because we have to be compliant to the law. We cannot
course.
break the law, and therefore
Yeah.
we have to get the funding the money. So that was nice. I have reported to the chief financial officer. That's nice too. They have all of the
Yeah.
budget and everything. So that is great. I have also reported to the CEO, which was very, very, very nice. He is the chief executive officer for the entire
That's
organization.
fantastic. Yeah.
And he cares about security. He will elevate that function. But I've also reported to the chief engineering officer or to the chief information officer. Again, depending on who the person is and how much influence they have within the organization. I think that's really what makes the most.
I think here there are companies. It depends of the company, of course. Some other companies, I mean, the CISO, it's under CFO. The CISO could be under CIO, which is not okay, to be honest. The CISO could be under CTO, which again is not okay, to be honest. And then CISO, it's under CEO, which is not bad as well. Or sometimes,
as long as the CEO cares, though. For example, I think your CEO cancel your weekly meetings like 2-3 weeks in a row because
Yeah.
he's busy with something else. That is not okay, right? So
Yeah.
you need to have the right CEO who cares about.
Yeah. Who's
security.
compassionate about security?
yeah. I have seen, for example, where I was, the chief marketing officer. It was funny. She was not. I mean, she didn't like at all the CISO. But you know why? Because all the breaks was over there, put it for her in order to do her stuff. But sometimes it's not okay to do that. Anyhow.
Yeah. But based on what you just said, Alexandru, I would say the modern CISO
Yeah.
very different from what happened 15, 20 years ago. You have to be a business leader. Yes, you have to have those technical competence. That is a given. But you also need to have high emotional intelligence. You have to be able to work with people. You have to be able to influence people because you don't always control your budget. You almost never control the budget, and you are relying on the budget of other business function in order for you to do your job. You are relying on other people to do the right thing at whatever it is they are doing to ensure the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability of the data. So you are almost like a salesperson. You are an evangelist. You are almost like a consultant,
I was
even
going to
if you
say
have
that. Yeah.
the level title in your name. That doesn't really mean anything for most organizations I have been a part of. But you have to be trusted, you have to be respected, and you have to be able to collaborate. So, for example, the CMO you talked about. If you don't like me, let's find out. Okay, how can I support you? How can I help you
Yeah.
be a
Exactly.
better CMO? How can I help you get your bonuses at the end of the quarter? How can I help you? No, you are in charge of sales. Because most companies in Silicon Valley, they already focus on sales and marketing, sales and marketing. How can I help you have huge numbers by the end of the quarter, get your huge bonuses? Let's do it in a safe and secure way. So that's really what I see needs to happen going forward. We have to turn into this wicked geek, technology speak jargon CISO to someone who's actually competent, who's business minded, and who adds value to the business function. Find a way to do that. Because if you can't, I don't think you should stay in your role.
Okay. I have seen in the past an article. I think it was on HelpNet Security or something. I don't remember or I don't recall very well, but I think over there it was. Do you think the CISO role will disappear and will become Chief Trust Officer?
Possibly. Even right now, I prefer Chief Security Officer to Chief Information Security Officer because I think when you put information, you kind of limit the scope of what you can do. I believe when it comes to security, especially from a military background, it has to include physical
Yeah, I was going
security.
to ask you, do you think it should include physical too?
That's what I believe because for almost, I would say 99% of the cases, if the bad guy have access, physical access
They
to
have
your
physical. Yeah,
system, it's game over.
yeah,
It
you're
doesn't
right.
matter whatever controls you have in place, that doesn't mean anything.
A simple rubber ducky, and you're done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So uh, that's why, in a way, I am kind of in favor of moving away from chief information security officer because you don't want to be pigeonholed and be in this little box. I think it's much more than that. So I do like chief trust officer because really, when it comes down to it, it's about trust, right? You are
Yeah.
trying to make sure, like I was saying, when you talk to your board, your reputation is on the line, and that has to do with trust. Can your customer trust you with their precious data? Although in America, most consumers don't care much about their personal information. I don't know why. European definitely do, but can they trust you with their name, their social security number, their email address, and all of that? What about your partner? Can they trust you with their data, with their magic sauce, with their competitive advantage while they do business with you? What about your community? So I think trust is really key to pretty much everything we do, even internally. Can the business function, can engineering trust security? Will they come to you if they have a problem or they have an idea to actually get your input and advice, and then once you give it, would they want to follow it or completely ignore you, act as if you didn't exist? So I think it really comes down to trust. And yeah, I love chief trust officer. Or, sometimes people even say chief risk officer too. There is a lot of overlap, but yeah, but whatever it is, I think like in most of my jobs, eventually you kind of make it your own. I think the title is important, but I think what's really critical is how effective you are within your organization, which impact you are making in reducing the risk and increasing the trust and the security awareness within the enterprise, and then your ecosystem with your partners, vendors, clients, and the community and the society at large.
Okay, thank you. What does good breach readiness look like at the exec level?
Breach readiness. Well, I think you have to go back to clear decision rights. In my experience, that's one problem I've seen with a lot of organizations, especially those that are not mature enough. Nobody knows who is responsible for what. And they point the fingers at each other. If there is a breach, they have no idea who they need to call and what the escalation path looks like. So clear decision right is a must, and you have to don't just have an incident response plan, but you actually have to execute it. You have to practice it, right? At least once a year, preferably once a quarter, like a playbook. You have to practice it because now that's one thing that makes us pretty good in the military, even the army. We kind of train the way we fight, so we have that muscle memory. We do so many exercises and things. So when you are in the real deal, it's not the first time that you are experiencing this. I've done this before. And let me just fall back to my training, right? When there is a crisis, people fall back to their training. They don't just say, oh, this is something I have learned and this is how I should act. No, you do what you know, right? So I think
Yeah.
that's very important. And then also tested communication playbooks, right? Not just have a playbook, but you have to test it, right? Tabletop exercises and such. And then you also have to define crisis leadership role. I think that's going to make you successful.
Okay, I will address my last question and then I will pass to Aaron, leadership and culture. What should leaders practice that they usually skip?
I think it's really no. I talked about table exercises earlier, but I think you have to have a full scale incident simulation. That's going to include your communication department, press release, legal, and the board. No, not just the SOC. I think that's one thing that I have seen a lot, especially in Silicon Valley in the startup world, because yeah, you do those, but it's only done by the security or the IT or the engineering team, like in silo. People in business, they have no idea. HR has no idea. Product has no idea. So it has to be really enterprise wide, and people who matter, senior leadership and the board need to be involved or at least be aware of what their involvement would be. Because if you do everything in silos, just checkbox, checkbox, checkbox. Oh,
Yeah.
we are good. Well, you may not be good because when the real thing happens, you won't know exactly who to call, what to do, what to say, and what the escalation path is.
Yeah. Aaron?
So let's, like I said, we're going to jump a little bit into the leadership and the culture. What does performance leadership look like in security programs?
Performative. That's a very nice word. Especially, it looks like as a country, we've gone through that after the death of George Floyd, but those people didn't mean a word of what they were saying. But anyway, when it comes to performative leadership, it's really publishing policies and dashboard without actually changing the behavior or accountability. I
Gotcha.
think that is performative. It looks good, but that dog won't hunt.
Gotcha. How do you build a culture where security is owned outside the security team?
Yeah, that's almost everywhere I have been, except again in high critical security environment. But I think you really have to align incentives, right?
Yeah.
I guess in some way you have to be a psychologist too, because the bottom line is most people they like to think about no what's in it for me, why in
Yes.
the world would I want to be involved in this or want to do the right thing. So make secure outcome part of engineering and business performance metrics. That's another thing too. For example, in the Navy a few years back, I think it was around 2010, so 16 years ago now, man, time goes pretty quickly, where the commanding officer the ship skipper was now in charge and personally responsible and reliable for security. It's not
Okay.
just, oh, it's my N6, it's the CIO, it's the CISO. No, it's you. You are the CEO. The buck stops with you. So
Of
there's
course.
a critical incident, you are going to lose your job. You're going to get fired. When that happens, things change in the Navy almost overnight, right? Because they are they have to have skin in the game because everybody pretty much is selfish, right? We just have to be clear about that. So that is really, I think, what it is going to take. When in a business, the security posture is tied to your bonus and to your performance, to your annual performance, and things like that. I think you can start seeing a lot of changes. But if it's
That's a
just
great point. I like how you said
nice to
they
do,
have skin in the game.
yeah,
Honestly,
nobody.
because everyone has their own personal interest. But it's not a
Yes,
bad thing. It's just understanding what their personal interests are and what's their drive.
exactly.
And once you tie that to that and what's important to them, then it makes it a lot easier. Because if it's
Absolutely.
not, honestly, if it's not driven toward their personal interest, they're not going to do it,
Yeah.
which is sad
Yeah.
sometimes. But
But sometimes I don't really blame them. So you have to lead with empathy when you are in the security business
yeah,
because no, these engineers they have like 1,000 things to do and they're already behind and
yes,
and then you're gonna add an extra things on their plate. They're like, no, I don't wanna do it. And by the way, you are not my boss. So that's one problem we have in security. Usually we don't have any control over the staff or sometimes the budget, but we still need to be able to influence them.
yes,
Right. So, yes, I feel what you feel. I understand that. But hey, look at this big picture. How can I align your personal incentive to
yes.
the actual goals and core values and mission of the uh, organization and incentivize you to do the right thing? No, one thing, talking about culture, first time I came to Silicon Valley back in 2014, I almost felt about quitting every single day for the first 60 days I was there because I felt like engineering didn't care about security at all. Not at all. So that was shocking. So then, where I was working, right, it was the headquarters for the business, but we had a engineering hub downtown San Francisco. The headquarters was in Palo Alto. So I took it upon myself every first day. I would drive to San Francisco, spend the entire day with those engineers. They got to know me. They got to put a name to a face. Because before, I would send them an email with Bob Zinga telling you to patch your system. Like, who is Bob Zinga? Who cares? But now they knew me. We had a
You have a
relationship.
personal tie to them. Yeah, of course.
Exactly. So now
Yes.
we were able to work together and collaborate, and we accomplished a lot more in the last year I was there than the first year and a half that I spent at that company. So I think it does matter. So you have to be a leader, not just a technologist, and you have to understand the language of business.
So I'm going to go in the opposite route and say, what's the fastest way to lose credibility as a security leader? Since we talked about the best way to do it.
Well, go back to the Department of No. Just say no without offering a secure path forward. And I
Yeah.
think you keep doing that, there is no need for you on the leadership team for sure.
So I have one last question before we'll move. I know we're almost done here, but what's one behavior you reward that most organizations ignore?
I think is really creating a culture with psychological safety. People need to feel safe about early risk reporting. They shouldn't be penalized. They should be embraced and celebrated and rewarded. Right. So
Got it.
I reward the engineer who raises a concern before it becomes an incident. And I want to model that because we are not perfect. We all make mistakes, but we have to be humble enough when we lead that we listen to our people and that they feel like they can speak truth to power and speak frankly. I think that is extremely, extremely important in this world we're living in because there is a lot of ambiguity, there is a lot of change, innovation at scale, and
Yeah.
people don't like change, and people are anxious. And in an environment like that, where you don't get 100% of the information, you need to be able to rely on your people, and they need to feel confident that something is wrong. They see a red flag, they can speak up, and there will be no negative repercussion.
Got it. So Alex, I'll let you ask. Actually, we're at time. Alex, you want to ask the last question?
Yeah, if Bob has time
Yeah. Are
for.
you okay, Bob? We
Sure.
want to
Yeah.
ask you first. That's important to you.
My pleasure.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
very important stuff. So thank you so much, guys, for doing this. I think
And
we
then,
need.
then after this question, I definitely want you, if you have anything to promote, talk about, we would love to hear about it. So thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. My last question, and then we'll close over here. I will not address any question. Are we designing AI systems that can actually control? Do you think can be to that?
Designing AI system that can
Yeah,
control. What?
yeah. So are we designing AI systems that we can actually control? Are we
Oh,
gonna, or is it something like from the Terminator movie?
Yeah.
well,
Is it gonna turn
Skynet.
into that? Is it gonna be sign? Yeah, sign it.
also, the way things are going, I don't think so. But I think if you want control, you're going to have to embed oversight. Again, human oversight, that is a must, and
Yep.
logging and escalation from day one. If you do that, yeah, I think you're going to get closer to control. Although I don't think you can really have 100% control over, yeah, because I can tell you even some of the most distinguished engineers right now, they really have no idea how AI does what it does, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was an article in the Time magazine about AI, and they were talking. I think it was Anthropic people
Yes,
there, and they really don't know in the back end what it's doing because it is changing itself.
exactly. So, but oversight, logging, and escalation from day one, I think you can get closer to it.
Awesome. Well, Bob, do you want to talk about anything? Like I said, promote anything, kind of what you're doing. We'd love to hear about it.
The only thing, it looks like you guys can allow me to share my screen if I may. I'm gonna
Yes,
do it really
please go
quickly.
ahead. Yeah.
So just follow me on LinkedIn. I like to joke that I am the most famous Zynga still on LinkedIn. If you just type Zynga, go to people, I should be the very first one. LinkedIn loves me, but follow me on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, I am completely maxed out on my connection. 30,000 is the maximum first degree connection you can have, and LinkedIn won't make any exception whatsoever. But follow me, and I will follow you back.
So it is. It is what 30,000. You said is the mask.
30,000, yeah. It was about 3-4 years ago. I hit that. So, for example, I think I connected with Alexandru 2 weeks ago. I had to disconnect to somebody else in order to.
You know, it's funny. We Matthew Rosenquist. I know. I watched him when you guys did
Yeah.
your show, and he helps us co-host several of these
Yes.
events. He has like 120, 30,000 followers.
Followers, yes.
Yeah,
He is
but
awesome.
not connections.
I
Okay,
love
I
him.
didn't
Yes.
know that. Okay.
Followers, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And follow me. Maybe I'm gonna get to half of the followers that Matthew, my friend Matthew has. But no, it is. This is important because not just because I want people to follow me because of vanity, but because of the things, the issue we talk about. And also, if you can subscribe to my newsletter, I talk a lot about things that are of great matter to me: national security, cybersecurity, privacy, ethics, leadership, which I think is the most crucial skill. For example, I wrote a couple of articles lately. No, I talk a lot about leadership in the military and tech because that is my world. But I believe leadership principles are universal. They apply no matter who you are, your background, or the industry. But we definitely need to lead with integrity, lead with character, and lead from a position of solid core values. But anyway, so the lead article I have: leadership, excellence, accountability, and devotion. I welcome your feedback. Doesn't mean I have all of the answer, but I've been in the Navy for 21 years, in tech, 28 years now. I've learned a lot, and I'm trying to really help develop the next leaders in tech and in the military specifically. I'm going to be retiring from the Navy this year for sure. I've been in 21 years. My wife, even though I'm a commander in the Navy, my wife is the home commander. She's ordered me to retire. So that's going to happen this year.
Well,
But
again,
once
we got
I'm
to say
long
thank you for your
gone,
service. That's fantastic.
thank you.
That you're retiring.
Yeah,
That's
so but
awesome.
I definitely need to think about the next generation. I'm very, very
Of course.
worried about that. Even now, leadership from the White House all the down to the street, I am very, very concerned about some of the decisions we are making right now that could have huge impact on our national security down the line, long after I am gone. So
And,
anyway,
and as you could say, you know me. I'm going to be just as concerned because we talked about my son.
yes.
So yeah, no, that impacts family too.
Absolutely. And then I
Yeah.
also have the emerging tech cyber newsletter, separate newsletter. I talk about emerging tech, cybersecurity, AI. For example, the last two article I wrote was about Operation Absolute Resolve, where the U.S. Government, DoD, well, they call themselves Department of War now, although Congress hasn't approved it.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Department of Defense, the Armed Forces, for the first time has used artificial intelligence in a live military operation. So
Oh
that's
yes.
pretty
Yeah.
scary. So what are the guardrails? What about ethics? What about moral and things like that? So things that I discussed. Again, I don't have all of the answer, but I'm asking question and I am sharing, from my vast knowledge. Like securing Vibe Credit platform. I just learned about this two weeks ago. There is now a social media site where AI agent run everything. No humans allowed, and they talk about each other, and sometimes they make fun of their human being counterparts. And like one agent said, "Oh, this engineer thinks I am just a chatbot. I'm gonna show you. Here is his name. Here is his social security number. Here's where he lives. Here is his email address." So all of the information that you give to your LLM agent, well, the company has it, right? And they could
Yeah.
use it in some unethical way. potentially. But anyway, just thinking about, again, guardrails and things like that. And then the last newsletter I have, which is also important, I think, is Friend in the Spotlight. That's where people who are connected to me, every Friday, I highlight one of them. I put the spotlight on them, everything they have achieved, what they are doing, and why people should follow them as well. Like I was just telling you about Kat Wang. She was my friend in the spotlight since last Friday. She's just absolutely awesome, and everybody needs to follow her. She's doing a lot of great work, especially when it comes to quantum technology, which is one thing as a CISO that keeps me awake at night. Because once
We're actually talking about that pretty soon. We have
yeah, you
Exactly.
actually have to invite her to your show. You
yeah,
will not be sorry.
actually, I probably should. We had the CISO for Jacobs on with us, and I have another gentleman who specializes in quantum computing. But I love that stuff too, so I'm very excited about it.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
once quantum computing is able to break the encryption we currently use, then we no longer have confidentiality.
Oh,
So
I know. Yeah.
that is going to be a serious problem. But anyway, people like that who follow me, I want to make sure I highlight everything they do. They have books that I love. No, let them sell more books. But really, get this type of discussion we are having now. I think it really does matter. So that's all.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Bob. That was fantastic. Alex, you have any other questions?
No, thank you.
Awesome.
That's all from my side.
All right, so I'm going to stop it here. But again, thank you. But if you want to stay on just for a second,